All Chicago public schools are now being tested after high levels of lead were found in the drinking water at one South Side school. Parents are naturally concerned. For years, public officials have said that Chicago's drinking water is safe. But the recent discovery here, combined with the contamination scandal in Flint, Michigan, have raised new concerns about the safety of our drinking water. The elevated lead levels at Tanner Elementary were found during a pilot testing program involving 32 Chicago public schools. Tanner was the only one that exceeded U.S. Environmental Protection Agency standards of 15 parts per billion. School system CEO Forrest Claypool says a lead level as high as 114 parts per billion was found in one of the school's drinking fountains.
We did 32 schools and found one school where there's an issue, so we believe it is isolated. But again, out of an abundance of caution, we are going to do every single faucet, every single water outlet, and we're going to do it on an expedited basis.
6 other schools tested positive for lead: Kosminski Elementary, Leonard Elementary, and Nicholson Elementary, all on the south side, Dett Elementary and Sumner Elementary on the west side, and Francis Parker School in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. All 6 schools tested below the federal limit of 15 parts per billion. Still, the EPA maintains that no amount of lead in drinking water is safe. Lola Arnold, whose twin grandsons attend Tanner Elementary, is frightened.
What if they are testing positive for lead? What do we do as a parent? You're making our children sick.
In addition to testing all 660 city schools, public health officials are beginning to check for lead at homes on the south and west sides. Now, city officials acknowledge the water department routinely tests only the same 50 homes every 3 years, and half of those residences are owned by water department employees. Attorney Elizabeth Fagan has filed a class action lawsuit against the city over its handling of the lead issue.
By using employees to do the water testing, they're flouting the rules, they're deceiving residents about whether there truly is a problem in the city's water.
In 2012, Mayor Emanuel launched a program to replace the city's aging water mains, some 800 miles of pipes, many more than 100 years old. The mains are usually made of cast iron, running down the middle of residential streets. The mains connect with lead service lines feeding into individual homes. Until 1986, the city required that those service lines be made of lead. Fagan agrees the infrastructure, such as this water main project on Olive Street in the Andersonville neighborhood, needs updating. But she says problems occur when the water department cuts those lead service lines and then reattaches them to the new water mains.
When it does that, it's breaking into those lead service lines and causing lead fragments to enter the water system and enter our homes.
The Department of Water Management advises homeowners to flush their plumbing for at least 5 minutes to remove sediment, rust, and lead after a new water main is installed. But the class action lawsuit claims the city is not doing enough to protect residents from lead.
The purpose of the lawsuit is to seek medical monitoring or blood lead testing for folks that have lived on streets where water main replacements have been done, as well as to require the city to change those lead service pipes to copper piping.
But that would cost millions of dollars. About 80% of the water service lines in Chicago are lead. But city officials maintain the water treated at the massive Jardine filtration plant next to Navy Pier is safe because a corrosive chemical is added to the water. That chemical sticks to metal, coating the insides of the pipe and preventing lead from leaching into the water. For young children in particular, lead is highly toxic. The EPA says even low levels can result in behavior and learning problems, lower IQ and hyperactivity, hearing loss, and anemia. Henry Henderson, Midwest Director for the Natural Resources Defense Council, says lead poisoning has devastating long-term effects.
Lack of performance in school, violence in the streets, all of these things which are significant problems for our urban environment, education, violence, etc., are triggered by lead poisoning.
High levels of lead have also been found across Illinois, including in downstate Galesburg, which is getting help from the state to replace all of its lead service lines. In the Chicago region, Berwyn, Forest View, York Township, Barrington, Volo, Marengo, and Richmond have all exceeded EPA standards at least twice since 2004. Homeowners concerned about lead in their drinking water can do something about it by installing filters. Matt Schroll is the plumbing and sewer manager at ABC Plumbing in northwest suburban Arlington Heights. This is a reverse osmosis system being installed under a sink. It virtually eliminates any traces of lead. The cost is about $1,000.
There's a lot of possibility of lead in the water, not only from the system side of it, meaning the Chicago or whatever city you're in side of the water system, but internally in the house.
For example, any faucet made before 2014 can have up to 8% lead in it, and faucets made before 1986 could contain as much as 25% lead. Schroll tells his customers to run the tap water each day for 5 or 6 minutes when they get up in the morning to flush the lead out.
What happens is when water sits, it starts to pick up the minerals around it. And those minerals then are susceptible to be in the human body.
Back on Olive Street in Andersonville, Lee Robbins, who's lived here for 25 years, says replacing the water mains without replacing the lead service lines doesn't make much sense.
It's like when you take a shower and put on dirty clothes. Well, you're putting clean lines over there, but not over here, and you run it back through the dirty pipes before it gets to my kitchen faucet or bathroom.
And Chicago residents concerned about their tap water can get it tested for free by calling 311.